everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another episode of my Success Spotlight Talk Show. I have a special surprise for you guys this morning. I have a award-winning empowerment speaker, one of my longtime sisters. I'm just so excited about her being on here, Altovise Pelzer. So I'm going to have her hop on the screen in just a second. But I want you guys to do us a quick favor. We're going to really roll out all stops. You guys know I've been now what I call is my kickoff series on how to dominate your business and double your income. But what we want to discuss and dive in this morning is how to build confidence and get your voice heard. And I'm going to have none other than Altovise hop on here. So, because she calls herself the, what I want to make sure I phrase this right. She helps women get unmuted. I like that. I like that a lot, right? So let's get Altovise on here. Let me get her on. I know she's been patiently waiting. Hey, love.
Hey sis, I'm excited to come and talk to. I'm gonna call this domination world. Like that's what it is. Instead of Disney World, it's domination world. That's what it is. So I'm excited to come and share with the domination world today. How are you guys doing?
Yes, they are rolling in. I see Sasha in the chat. Those of y'all who are hopping on, let us know where you're tuning in from. I have a couple of people over here on Instagram. But, Altovise, we have a lot of catching up to do. And I love the fact that we are talking about this particular topic because it has a lot to do with mindset, which is more importantly, like a struggle for whether you're doing anything, whether you have a business, whether you're trying to get through this whole new reality of life, right? So for those of you and for the people in my audience who don't know who you are, if you could introduce yourself.
I am Altovise Pelzer, your voice manager. I unmute the voice of women who are ready to speak up about what has kept her silent for way too long. I help you with visibility. I help you with being able to convert people from podcast interviews. And guess what? We put you in a position to be able to get out in the world, not just in your neighborhood, not just in your city and state, but get out to the world. And it's been an amazing experience because for me as an introvert, I am my number one client. And so I've been able to be on summits and connect with people globally to be able to build my brand. Listen, and I'm still the introvert, which means I'm not always the loudest one in the room.
And you make being an introvert okay, like the cool thing, right? Y'all
Right?
have
Come
to,
on to the Cool Kids Club.
yes, y'all have to check out Altovise Instagram. Make sure y'all follow her on Instagram before you hop off this live. Make sure you go over to World Voice League over on Instagram and follow her because she has some awesome nuggets. I saw a couple of her IG shows and posts. And like she just mentioned, she also has a podcast as well. So we're going to jump into this topic because I know a lot of people, for this particular topic, a lot of people sort of get a lot of inspiration from, right? So as I mentioned today, guys, we're going to dive into how to build confidence and get your voice heard. We all have a voice. But I want to first say, before we jump into these 3 points, also these, I like to throw in a wild card. You could have done anything, right? You could have been an entrepreneur, a CEO, a founder of anything. What brought you to creating the Voice League?
So it was interesting because I tried other things.
Mm-hmm.
I did Avon. I did I did a few. I won't go into everything that I tried. Because y'all would be like, yeah, girl, I remember those days. But the reality is that it wasn't set up for me to be my own person. It was set up for me to follow a plan, right? Come on. How many of you understand that even when you're doing the MLM, you're still following somebody else's plan? And I kind of had gotten to the point where I was like, oh my goodness, I really want to get to my plan. I really want to get to help my people. And my people were women who thought that their story wasn't valuable, their story wasn't valid, and they thought that nobody would want to hear them. Some of them even at the point where they said, all I wanted to do was write a book. No, that's the starting point, but you can do so much more. And so in me doing this journey, man, it took us to a whole nother level to where now I'm looking around and I'm like, come on, We got this. And
Uh-huh.
it's funny because I heard somebody say, oh my goodness, we need to cancel 2020. No, 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 no.
No, not at all.
We don't need to cancel 2020. We need to
Mm-hmm.
cancel your thoughts about 2020.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That part.
That's right. I've been hearing that a lot too, particularly on YouTube. A lot of videos I've been watching, and it just surprises me how many people want to just give up, and giving up on themselves, giving up on their goals, dreams, and aspirations, and now holding back their voice. And one of the funny things that I've realized, and this was back in March. I think it was around March 19th, because I remember that moment because that's when I got the email, the text messages, the phone calls from my children's school saying that now we have to, migrate into homeschooling, virtual schooling. And then when I went on social media, so many people were like, well, I'm afraid to self promote my business because I don't want to take money out of people's pockets and things like that. And there was so many women wanting to just put their business on hold. And I was like, no, don't do that. Like, still get out there, still dominate, still go out there, and, like, as you would say, get your voice heard. And granted, some people still make the decision to say they're going to take a step back. But I've been seeing a lot of people as the months went on who decided to say, I'm still going to speak my voice. I'm still going to self promote. It's just about changing and adjusting to the current time. So I'm glad you mentioned that. 2020 ain't over, guys. We're in the half quarter.
You're only at the halfway point.
Yes, yes, we're at the halfway point, and I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna, just put it out there that my business has doubled since this whole pandemic has happened, and it just goes to show how God will always bless us, even in a famine. I always say that. So let's jump into this topic on how to build your voice. Those of you who are watching live or on the replay, I want y'all to do me a quick favor. I want y'all to tell me, what is your voice? If you have a business, if you have a passion, please post in the comments below, because a closed mouth don't get fed. And when you're putting what you do out there to the universe, you never know what's going to come back, right? So, Altovise, the first question I have for you this morning, and I want to say again, I can't thank you enough for being on the show today, is what are some of the things that keeps women from being confident?
So I can sum it up like this. One of the major things that keep women from being confident is the thought that we can't be our authentic selves. We think that we have to look like someone else, sound like someone else. You have to show up, like, well, however you saw them show up or however they did their journey. And it's really hard because we tap into different strategies and we say yes to different opportunities and courses, but then we don't utilize the course, or when we do, we don't see success.
Yes.
Let's have an honesty moment. And World Voice League community, y'all know, hashtag real talk, put it below. Hashtag real talk. How many of you have courses, programs, webinars on your laptop, on your
Yep.
phone? You got ebooks, you got physical books in your home,
Yes.
and you can read it and you can talk about what's in it. But when you try to implement it,
It's
crickets.
nowhere.
It's crickets. And so when I rebranded in 2016 and I started on this journey of being at the forefront of my business, I 3 classes. I launched three, y'all, three. And
I
in launching
remember.
3 classes, I had 0 signups.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing it. I had the pretty graphics. I had the logo. Y'all know, at that point, I was the voice coach. I had
Yes.
the following. I had the connections. I had the community. But guess what? It wasn't my voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things holding us back sometimes is that we think we got to have it too structured. We think we got to have it perfect. We got
Mm-hmm.
to have, and we're comparing our day one to somebody else's day 1000.
That's right.
That part. And so I even went live this week telling people, listen, this is your day one. Get at it. It doesn't have to look like somebody else's day 100. Stop comparing it to their day 100. There are going to be
Mm-hmm.
some key things that you can take away from it, but the main reason why we don't, as women and ladies, men, I'm not leaving you out, but men tend to have a bolder statement when it comes to just launching and doing something, whereas women will hold back
Mm-hmm.
and we think we're not enough.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And one of the notes I put in my journal every day, I said, when you be yourself, people will find you. Like, that's one of the affirmations I say. Tisha, be yourself, and those people, while you're being who you are, loud and out there and bright and vibrant, people will find you. And that's the most important part that we have to understand. It falls into being transparent. It falls into being your unique self, and not trying to placate yourself as something that you are not, because like you said, you did that launch and you noticed you didn't get any traction. And once you really dive back in, and there's nothing wrong with that too, like that's another thing. A lot of people get started and they don't get because the way our brains work, our brains are so results based, right?
Mm-hmm.
That when we're not getting the results, we decide to, our brain goes right back into survival mode, goes
Yep.
right, dive into our comfort zone, and we don't do anything. And the fact of getting out there again falls into so much fear. But I'm a heart driven woman. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly. Exactly.
Everything I do is just based on my heart. Like, I'm pregnant now with my fifth child, and people are like, "Oh my God, you gonna have another one?" I say, "Well, I don't know. If my heart desire and my body's working, I'm going to have another one." But it's like, what's extreme to some people, for somebody like me, it's more of like, hey, this is just, it is what it is. So it's your unique self. And I, like I said, when those of you who are watching, don't stop because you failed or didn't get that expectation as something. Just like you did also, V, you had to, go back and just reevaluate yourself and then get out there and do it again, bigger and better, right?
Most
That's
definitely.
so important. Thank you so much for sharing that. So the second question is that, Altovise and I wants to really dive in deep. Altovise and I think we've known each other since
I'll pull up the
2000.
sleeves on this one.
Yeah, I roll up the sleeves, girl. I think we came in contact with each other because first, I remember June 2000 in person, and I got the opportunity to see your journey and then to now. I think for the both of us, we have things where we're lack confident, or I'm sorry, y'all, the connection is acting up. Can you see me, Altovise?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Sorry, I don't know why my connection is bad right now. But from then to now, there's probably been situations coming up where we were not so 100% confident in ourselves. Now, tell me some of the things that your experiences with a lack of confidence.
So I can tell you this. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
when I decided to rebrand in 2016, I had some confidence, but my confidence was reliant upon other people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a dangerous space to be in.
Oh, it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous.
It's not to say that you don't need people. You need people, but when all of your confidence is reliant on people, then what happens when those people go away? What happens when those people let you down? What happens when those people don't live up to the expectation that we've placed upon those people?
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't until I started putting a greater expectation on me
Mm-hmm.
that I started to kind of build that confidence. I can't listen. Everybody's not going to like me. Everybody's not going to like that I eat dessert first at times. Everybody's not going to like, that I'm loud at times, that I like
Mm-hmm.
certain things. They're not going to like it. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's not my client.
That's right.
And when you start building that confidence, now, listen, when I show up, I'm showing up for whoever needs me. I'm not showing up for everybody in the room.
That's right.
So even with me being here this morning or whenever you may be catching this replay, I'm showing up for you or maybe not you. Maybe I'm showing up for the person that's on your timeline. And when you share it, they're going to say, oh, wow, I have been feeling like, muted. I have been feeling like I can't get my voice out there. I have been feeling like I need more confidence. Oh, my goodness. I thank you for sharing this. Because guess what? It may not have been for you. You just may have been the catalyst to get it in front of somebody else.
Wow.
And I had to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
That is very hard to do when you're coming into the industry.
Yes. Oh, yes, girl.
It's very hard to do.
Yeah.
It's very hard to be okay with who you are. It's very hard to be okay with not striving for what everybody else is striving for. But I can tell you this, I had a client that reached out to me and she signed on to my program. And she did two of my programs. And when she signed on, she said, you know why I signed on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, because, we about to move this voice and we about to get out there. And she said, even in the community that you were a part of, your voice stood out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You weren't doing what everybody else was doing.
That's right.
You weren't pricing it the same way everybody else was pricing it. And so you stood out amongst the crowd, even though it was 50 something people in the community, even though it was 100 something people in the community,
You stood out.
you stood out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so significant because I said, wow, I attribute that to me going to a conference we were in California.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know what? I'm the introvert now. This is a sidebar. Introverts, y'all know, normally we sit at the back of the room so that way we
Mm-hmm.
get an easy exit. Or we can go out in the hallway when we didn't became, we didn't people too much.
Yes.
We need to go for a break. We need an air break, okay?
Yes.
Not a cigarette break, an air break. But I said at this conference, I'm gonna be, somebody's gonna know who I am before I leave. I don't need everybody to know who I am, but somebody will know who I am.
That's right.
And I tapped into, again, what's authentically me. Now, anybody who's seen me at any conferences, virtual or in person, y'all know if the music go on, she, me, her is gonna dance.
Yes.
I don't care what song is playing, she gonna dance.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were playing music. I go up front and I'm on the floor. They're on the stage dancing. And I got bold because this is me. This is my life. This is who I am. And I turned around and flipped the camera so I could be in the video. And it was a room full of 200 eyes looking at me.
Yes.
Scariest moment ever. But in that moment, I said, you know what? Don't look at the crowd. Just keep looking at the camera. Keep having fun. Well, they invited me to come on stage. That was so not in my plan.
Mm-hmm.
But I go on stage. I dance with them. That's in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
We come back after lunch. And the organizer of the event, it's his event. He calls me by name to come back on the stage to dance. Why? And he calls me by name
Mm.
out of a room of 200 plus people.
Wow.
When you are confident and you say, I'm going to show up authentically me, then guess what? Somebody's going to know your name and it's
Mm.
going to matter no matter what room you step into.
That is so true. That is so true. And another thing that I want to dive into, and I know you can totally relate to this on my end, is that I had two instances in the past, I would say 3 years, where, where I had a few instances in the past 3 years where I did have a lack of confidence. And what happens is that I always tell people that you got to understand that people see your shine. They see what your gifts are. They see the fact that you are this person who stands out. Like for you, you stood out. Same thing for me. I stood out. People knew who I was. People reached out to me. People was just like, girl, you just like, you're a teacher. And it was just who I was. But people will see your shine. And there's two types of people that approach that. There's people that approach that and say, girl, I want to feel your energy. I would love for us to do something together, or to just be like, sister business buddies and stuff like that. And I have a lot of women like that. And then you have those who say, you know what, I see this girl shining. I want to opt in on that. I want to use that as something that's beneficial for them. That has happened to me more than anything in the past 3 years. And the thing is that happens to all of us. It's not, I don't care whether you're getting started or you've been doing it for a period of time. You're going to get somebody who I call, I forgot the name I tell them as, but they'll come around, they're going to use what you're leveraging as an opportunity for them. So that has happened to me. And what happens was it was a struggle to get out of that so-called business relationship, because like you mentioned, you feel that in some part of your body, in your heart, you feel that you need that entity or need that individuals um, a part of you. But once I realized, and this was like back in August of last year, that I brought myself to this point. Okay, this is my journey. This is my success. These are my accolades, and I don't need this individual to qualify me. That was one issue I had in last year in the past was the spirit of qualification. Like, who qualifies you in the business world, in the entrepreneur, in the 9 to 5 world? Your boss qualifies you. You do a good job, you get a raise, or you get a, like what I got, bunch of plaques and little certificates that I just put up on my office, like, oh yeah, I did this and that. But when you step into the business entrepreneur space, you're still finding that in somebody to qualify you. And that is really detrimental to your business, guys. You qualify yourself in this space. You get yourself out there just like you did Altovise, and when you danced and everybody saw you, and then that was an opportunity for you to get on stage and be highlighted, and like this show called Spotlighted. That you did that. That man did not give you anything. You gave it to yourself. So that last year when I discovered that, and one thing about me is that when I transition out of something, it's immediate. It's no slow process. When I feel like something ain't right, and you've seen me do that in the past, in another situation, um, where I just say I cuss people off quick. I'm just listening. Okay, like maybe that's the Capricorn in me. I don't know, but because once I come to that realization that you're more of an energy sucker, a leech to me,
Yep.
my brain automatically switches off and just moves on. And that is a struggle. Like the whole after that, the whole if you ever been an alcoholic, I was never alcoholic, but I work with people who had addictions. When you go cold turkey, there is a process of mourning after that. So I did have a process of mourning that situation, missing those communities, missing those connections and things like that. And some I still have, but most of them I don't have connections with anymore. And being okay with it, being
Exactly.
okay with it. And now I'm starting to see things come back into full circle, where those communities back then that said, okay, she's gone, then I'm still going to stay over here, are connecting with me and saying, girl, I see you, I'm watching you, inboxing me the eyeballs and everything like that. And because they saw me do it on my own. Listen, guys, ladies, you don't need anybody to qualify you. You wake up every morning and you are already qualified to do what it is that you do. Every day is another opportunity for you to dominate. Every day is another opportunity for you to practice that self-reflection on yourself and tell yourself, I'm the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And owning that. I feel like we don't own these words, these affirmations that we say every day. Own that, because once you own it, you become that. Your personality matches that, your environment matches that, and you just become more and more confident every single day. So even going back to that experience I had where I was breaking away from connections that was not, and I told the person, this, number one, this is not profitable for me, and number two, it's allowing people to see me as a totally different human being. And one thing I will not sacrifice is my brand. My brand is more than just the Camel Success Network. My brand is a Worry, Aurora, Warren, Valora, and the little girl I'm about to bring into this world in October. That's what the representation of the legacy that I am building. So when you step into a situation where it's a collaboration or it's a partnership or whatever, it's nothing wrong with saying, well, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
And making sure that what's in it for me is clear every single month from day one all the way to the day that you guys part ways, that you are getting something that is elevating you and not elevating them, because that's what happens. You see they're getting elevated, right? And they may be mentioning your name, but that elevation is still not yours, it's theirs. Okay, so it's having that realization, and once now I'm like, whoo, I ain't got I ain't got nothing holding me down or holding me
Eyes
back. Just
free.
myself.
Eyes free.
eyes free. And like I said, everybody's going to go through that in business,
Yeah.
right? You're going to have people, that those snakes in the woods, that just going to be around, and they're watching you, and they're watching you. And that perfect time where you are peaking, that's the time when they swoop in. And I say that because that's a dangerous moment in your business, when you don't realize people for who they truly and honestly are. So I'm honest when I'm getting into partnerships with people, and Sasha, she's on here, she'll tell you. I said, listen, girl, this is the line in the sand. You make a choice on which direction you want to go in. If you choose to go in this direct, not take it, I'm totally fine with that. If you choose to go for to go forward, that's great. But it's just being just upfront with the expectations, which I didn't do before. I didn't have that expectation before. I was just so excited. I'm like, oh my God, this person reached out to me. I was like, I'm working with this person. I get on there live. I'm traveling the world with them. And sometimes you gotta hold down your wig and say, stop. Like, wait a minute.
Exactly.
So
But you know what it is? And
yeah.
I had to come into this conversation with myself, because
Yes.
one of the things is that, sometimes we got to say self, and we got to get into, I tell my clients, we got to have a self-coaching moment, because
Yes.
there's some conversations you need to be real about with you. And one of the things that we started talking about was that, even in the word of God, it says, everywhere at my feet try to have dominion. Well, some of
Yes.
y'all are stepping into places where you didn't want or need dominion.
Mm.
And so you're poisoning your purpose.
That's true.
And the longer you stay there, the more toxic it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's crazy. You look back and you're like, why did I stay so long? What was going on? And it's that need, it's that dependency upon, yes, I want them to validate me. Yes, I want them to give me the high fives. I'm somebody, I love gifts. You bring me some brownies, we friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? We friends. But you got to go back and say, what am I sacrificing?
Yeah.
And
And
so many people, I literally had a conversation with someone in one of the communities that I was a part of, and it broke my heart. And I think this was like the straw that broke the camel's back for me. When they reached out to me and they were supposed to be working with me on a project for somebody, and they said, well, sis, I don't know if I'll be able to contribute because I haven't left my room for 3 days.
mm,
Like, how did we get this far?
mm-hmm.
How do we get to this point that we are so trying to push
Oh,
somebody else's
yes.
vision forward that we not even doing self-care, just everyday self-care? And we
Mm-hmm.
going and we investing in somebody else's vision and dream, and you ain't got a pot to piss in on the window to throw it out of. Your
Exactly.
marriage is falling apart. Your children don't love you or like you at this point. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're going through things, but you're giving your all. That's not, if that's a coach that you're dealing with, that's not a coach.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're robbing yourself of your own happiness and your business
Exactly.
identity. I'm really big on business identity, which is bigger than branding for me. When you know who you are as a woman, as an individual, a lot of things that happen won't happen because we wear masks a lot. That's the mistake
Indeed.
that a lot of women make online, is that they put on that mask of everything's great, and oh, it's happy, it's green screens and graphics and things like that. And it's really easy to, as you know, also these put up a perception of what's reality, and really behind the camera, that's not what it is. And so, when people started to notice, when I started to part ways with individuals, especially my clients, they said, Letitia, you're back. I was so shocked, the fact that, because I did, after, when I always let my community know what's going on, because I don't want to put off this perception also, V, that building a business is easy.
Mhm.
I want to air out all the dirty laundry so that my clients, my community, know what to expect. So when I held something like a town hall, a virtual town hall, to my clients, and I said, listen, this is what's going on and why, um, I would have to say 100% of them was like super duper supportive, because they saw the differentiation before and after, and and that really surprised me. It wasn't a surprise; it was more of like a confirmation for me.
That's
And
exactly what it
my
was.
husband would be in the background talking about you don't need them, and they, it would be like, and I'll get so angry, like, you're just stopping my goals and everything like that. Hearing it from the community was just another confirmation, right? Because we get signs
Yeah.
even before we make a decision. We just ignore it, or we just think that things are going to get better, you know.
Oh
Um,
no, I'll tell you the one that really stuck
Go
out
ahead,
for me.
sis. Go ahead.
My teenage daughter said, "Mom, why are you still connected to that? That doesn't line up
Yes,
with your brand."
yes, yes,
She said she listening in to a
yes,
class, and she's like,
yes.
"Why that doesn't line up with your mom?
Hmm.
No, that doesn't line up with who you are." And I went through the same
Yeah.
thing. Literally, people after I made that separation, people were coming and, "Oh my goodness,
Hmm.
I had stopped listening to you for a while because of the community you were a part of. I had
Yeah,
stopped
I
following you,"
tell you,
and I'm like, "Why
I
didn't
had
nobody
I had
say
a client that
that?"
told me, she was like, Coach, I had to turn you off some days,
Yeah,
and I was like, wow. But you know what, guys? You got to receive that.
yeah,
You can't take that as a sense of like a dagger. You got to say, I said, I received that. And when I opened up and spoke to my particular clients in my community, I said, tell me what it is that I need to hear. That no, not what I need to hear, what I have to hear. Because
exactly,
my heart is open. And I think, guys, you got to be in business
exactly.
is that your heart has to be open to feedback, to, especially if you're dealing with individuals that has been watching you since the starting point, and they're like, and they may not have said nothing while you was in that partnership or whatever. They kept quiet. And that's what happened for me. But once you get out of it, you start really hearing and listening to people's honest opinions, and you have to receive it. You just have to take it in and make those changes, because those are all causes of your actions. You have to have some sense of
Yeah.
accountability, and that's what happened for you, Altovise. People reached out. People, you saw the carnage of being a part of that experience, and now another thing, though, Altovise, that I'm thankful to God for, that I learned this early on.
Exactly.
I don't have to learn that 10 years from now. 10 years from now, we're going to be, girl, we're going to be all girl.
Come on. No, not even just the time,
Hmm.
the money,
Yes.
the energy. Like people, when I look at people and I'm like, you're making these investments. Every time you make an investment, there should be an ROI. And if
Yes.
the only ROI you're getting is always exposure,
Hmm.
when are you going to level up? When are
Exactly.
you going to move to another level
Yep.
where now you're getting more than just exposure?
Exactly.
And it was what I was doing outside of the community that was making more of an impact than what was going on inside. And so I was
Hmm.
making connections outside that was putting me on stages in other cities and putting me in front of other people and expanding my whole community.
That's right.
Whereas the stuff I was doing inside, it was almost like it was a pond.
Hmm. Hmm.
And we might as well just take the fish and put the fish on your hook, and then now put the fish on your hook. Let's all take a picture with the fish.
You're just a volunteer, basically, and I refuse to be a
Exactly.
volunteer, and that's what I was. I was just volunteering my expertise, my experiences. So were you, and it's
Hmm.
for so long you're going to be okay with being a volunteer, because, like I told people, I got to keep that refrigerator full. I can't be. I can't afford to be low on eggs, meat, milk, juice. You know, I got to keep it full. And if I'm noticing that it's not happening, I'm like, well, there's a problem here. I need to,
Exactly.
I need to change it up. So even when I'm doing partnerships with people, I'm about to do a summit later on in August. With my speakers, I'm like, listen, y'all, we're gonna make like this OTO offer on the back end, to where
Exactly.
we all can benefit from the profits. A lot of people don't do that. They think of it, oh, so, well, you're just gonna go on my show, and you're just gonna go on my summit, and you're gonna get into the audience. There is a long-term benefit to that. I'm not, bashing that particular entity of it. But when you have somebody always saying, come over here, come over here, come over here, And because your shine makes everything like amazing,
Hmm.
you know,
Yep.
and it's so funny because like sidebar, the old partnership I was in, I still had those individuals that I helped, their clients, their people, not them, but their people, and I provided them their clients transformation, reached out to me, and I had to put somebody in their place a couple of months ago. I'm like, listen, I'm not part of that no more. I know who you think you are, but you're not going to come over here and get all these nuggets and get all this and stuff like that. I can send you an invoice if you like, and we can continue this conversation. So again, there's repercussions a lot of times to the partnerships that you're in. Where not only
Yeah.
will that person take advantage, the people that they're affiliated with would say, "Oh, let's go with Letitia," because
Because you teach people how to treat you.
exactly.
And when they see y'all better catch this. When they see the head doing it,
Mhm.
everybody else believes that they can do it.
Mhm.
And one of the most valuable things that you will ever learn, Queen, I don't know if you, I need y'all to listen clearly, hear
Listen
me
here.
clearly.
Open your
The
ears.
most valuable thing that you can ever do is learn the value of saying no.
Mhm.
Learn the value of saying no, because that's when you start seeing that tension, and you start seeing, okay, something is going on. Why, when I say no, now there's a problem? Why, when I don't show up in the same capacity that I was showing up before,
It's an
because I'm
issue.
thinking
It's
about my
different.
brand, because I'm thinking about my business, why is there now this what's going on? You got to pay attention. Your no is valuable.
And you
And
know
when
what?
you give it,
Yep.
stand firm on it.
Stand firm on it. There is a narcissistic side to this world, where I'm not diagnosing anybody, but I call it, there's coaches out there that has narcissistic characteristics. And the only reason why I say that because I've dealt with many, many narcissistic people in my lifetime, on the job and off the job. And when I see those flags, they triggers for me. And there's like, wait a minute, I say no, and there's a problem, and that's what a narcissistic person does. When you say no,
Hmm.
that is a huge issue for them.
Exactly.
Versus somebody like me, you say no. I say, hey, sis, but respect that no. I respect that, sis.
I
You got
respect you. No, I respect your
there's
time.
no harsh feelings. There's no them separating you from everybody else and making you feel like bad for your choices and things like that. And when you're dealing with that type of individual who has those narcissistic characteristics, they're never going to change.
Yeah.
Don't think that they're going to see your point of view. Like, listen, sis, I got a bunch of kids over here. I know you got one child or twins or whatever you got over there, but I got a lot more on my shoulders, 10 times more than you. And let's be real, if they don't get that, uh-uh.
It's difficult because you gotta fight for you even when other people aren't willing to.
Oh yes,
I'm gonna say it again for the cheap seats, for the people in the
yeah,
back. You gotta fight for you even when other people are unwilling to. And guess what? You will come in contact with many who are unwilling to fight for you in the long
exactly.
haul.
For the long haul, that's it.
For the long
And
haul. We're
like
not
I
talking
said,
about for the overnight. We talk about for the long haul.
long haul. And like I said, I'm glad that I went through that experience. I know you're glad that you went through that
Oh
experience.
yeah.
So now when you have that conversation with women, they don't have to go through that. They're going to
Exactly.
say, ooh, my coach went through that valley already. I already know what it is. And my clients do that. Yesterday on Sunday I had a call, and one of my clients, Arcavia, she reached out to me and she said, Coach, I need your advice because I'm about to hit the go button, but I don't know before I do. And that the opportunity she told me was a great opportunity for her actually. So I told her yes. But the fact that now, because I went through that, now I get my clients who ask me about certain collaborations and opportunities that comes up to their table since they're getting more well known, and they ask me what my honest opinion is, and I give them both perspective. You could do
Exactly.
that. You could go over there and do that partnership, but this is what's going to happen. But if you say no, guess what's awesome? You can still just keep doing what you're doing. But at the end of the day, you don't need anybody but yourself, right? So important. Oh, you guys are really rolling in on these comments
Yeah,
here.
I was looking at the comments. Look, come on.
Yes, I'm loving this time. Thank you, Karen, for hopping on. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And I think that once you're in it, people are afraid to talk about it. once you're in it.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
because
friends. Or, yeah,
it's the cool kids club.
and you think the community is what's getting you traction, but when you look at that account, it's like I don't want to have a lot of friends. I want to have a lot of money.
And this is the reality. If you're putting out more money, if you're putting out more money than what you're bringing in,
Yes.
it's time to reevaluate. It's time to sit down with yourself and look and get you. Look, I'm big on index cards, right?
Yeah.
So I got index cards always beside me.
Yes.
It's time for you to put some things on paper. How much did you make at that event? And this is for authors, speakers, entrepreneurs. I don't care what level you're on. I don't care how long you've been in business. You want to build your confidence? Take a real hard look at your money and say, how much did I pay for the event? How much did I pay for gas, transportation, hotel? And then look and say, how much did I make?
Mhm.
Did you
Mhm.
at least cover your expenses?
Mhm.
If not, sis, you got to make a decision. Is this going to be your hobby or your business?
And don't allow people. See, let's talk about that because I've done a lot of events all over the world
Mm-hmm.
and a joint as a partnership with people, and they will make you feel like they're giving you. Oh, you get to speak. Okay,
Oh,
what does that mean? I get to speak, but can I offer my services too? Can I have breakout sessions with people who come to me and say, "Oh my God, Leticia, you did amazing. I would love to know more about what you're doing. Can I do some
exactly.
transactions off the stage? You know,
Since I was looking at
PayPal ready,
programs,
my Stripe link ready. Like, can I do some currency stuff here? Because we're
I
not
can give y'all the insight. I can give y'all the juice. Y'all want some tea? Y'all want some tea? I give y'all some tea real quick. Y'all ready? And I drink ginger tea. Y'all want some tea real quick? I had someone reach out to me. This was maybe about 2 years ago. And they had been following me for quite some time. They, were just starting into their business and had did one successful event.
hmm
And just because of some connections, they had some really big name people come. And so they wanted me to come and speak at the event. They said, okay, well, you can sell from the stage, da da da, blah blah blah. Go ahead and tell me how much they wanted me to. Go ahead and guess. Y'all put it down below. Guess how much they wanted me to pay to speak on the stage. Just go ahead and guess.
about 35, probably over that.
Go, come on. I need to see them in the.
Let
Come
me
on, we
let
need to
you
see
know.
some answers. While I sip this good tea, because y'all about to get this good tea and this good word real quick. Ah,
I'm ready for the tea.
baby.
Someone put in question mark. It's a lot of money. It's not. Sasha said 10K.
If I would have signed on for the 45-minute slot and did the early bird price, it was 15K.
Oh no. But you know what? Altovise, that's a fact though. But again,
15K.
but in the interim of that, they're feeling like they did you a favor. There's no ROI
Exactly.
in that amount.
Because they've worked with such and such and they've done this and then you still wanted a percentage of my set. Yes. And you still wanted a percentage of my sales. This is
Exactly.
this is what's going on behind the scenes. And you
People don't talk about that. They don't talk
don't
about
talk
how,
about it.
oh, I see you on the banner. I see all this stuff, and you're paying thousands upon thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for that without even an opportunity. And that's wrong. See, listen, that's wrong get to take a percentage from you selling off the stage. That's wrong.
Yeah. And then look, had it all done. I mean, if I was someone who was like, oh yeah, the exposure will be great,
hmm
it would have been great because how they finessed you. They finessed you like well, Miss
hmm
Preston Curl. Well, they finessed you well because he sent me the outline and the information and what the prices were, and then sent me, it was one sheet of it was pictures of potential speakers.
Mm.
And then they put my picture
There.
along with the potential speakers.
Hmm.
But you didn't even have speakers confirmed for the event. Wait, pause.
Exactly. So let me just educate the audience here a little bit, because I know there's a lot of women. I see a couple of them on here who are looking to speak and publish and things like that. Okay, you got your woman board, right? Which is obviously as something you have to pay for. If you're going to an event,
Exactly.
you are in fact responsible for your board, unless, and this is one of the things that happened to me when I did my last partnership with somebody. I was actually part of their team, part of their brand. If you're
Right.
part of somebody's team where you're actually helping them as a head coach of their program, or as somebody who just helps them with a lot of back of the end stuff, you shouldn't be paying for those type of expenses because you're part of the team. That's my opinion. Everyone else out there, but that is my opinion. Right? When I did my Dallas event last year, my team did not pay for their hotel. They did not pay for their food. I foot the bill because they're part of my team. I need them there in order for me to, do all things I need to do at the event. They're the ones that helps with, oh, somebody inboxed me and needs this has a question for that. They take, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you are a speaker and you're going to the event, and you should pay for your room and board. That's it. But a lot of these people out here, these conductors, would just say this is the price to just get on stage, right? For you to walk up them steps and talk, or get it behind that thing and talk, and they charge outlandish
Yes.
prices for that, ridiculous. And then for your example, what happened to you is that even if you did offer something, they took a percentage. Some of these people are taking 50%.
Yeah.
So you gotta
And
hope
it's
and pray.
crazy.
Yeah. So it's like you gotta hope and pray and damn near panhandle to make at least that back. And granted, you're not going to make a ROI on 15K at an event. That's just impossible.
I'm like, y'all, what? Who is
You're
these?
not.
Now, granted, I know that there are some. I've had hosts who have wrote me on, and I didn't have to pay for anything. I had to just pay for my food. They paid for my hotel.
Yeah,
They paid for my flight. I've had that happen.
yeah.
It does happen, but you got to understand, it's about the relationship that you're building, and it's about what is the real purpose of this event. I think that was, for me, the biggest thing was that I didn't want to be a part of anything that was not on brand.
And let me tell you something that happened to me. The last event I did, that I went to, it wasn't my event. It was a partnership with somebody. 95% of the people that were there were from my community.
Hmm.
So you
Yep.
telling me I got to pay for room board, which I'm supposed to pay for room board. I have no problem with that. Well, I shouldn't have had some part of your team, but food, room board, to speak, all that stuff, couldn't offer anything. But when I look out into the crowd, my ladies are there. That's the
Yep.
problem. Okay,
So
and
then it goes,
yeah,
are you really marketing it? Like,
that
what are
was
you
sure.
really, or were you looking for me to market it?
But that's again, people see your shine. They see your
Exactly.
shine, going back to that, and they know the fact that if I get Letitia's name on this
Oh,
marketing,
yeah.
I guarantee I'm going to feel this. I had so many people of my community coming that they had to get a bigger house. Check my timeline, y'all. They had to get a 24-bedroom house. They started off with a 10 bedroom. They had to get a 24. Okay, my people filled that place up. All right. So it's again, people will see your shine and they will leverage that. And you're looking around and you're like, wait a minute, I know she paid this, she paid that, she paid that. But what did I get?
Exactly.
What did I get? You
What
know,
came about for me out of
what
this? And
thing?
it's a part of that
It's
process.
putting a lipstick on a pig. That's basically what. Yes. And Karen says she's still getting past the fact that you paid to speak. There you go.
Oh yeah. Now, many speaking opportunities you pay to speak in
You
the
do
beginning.
because
In the beginning.
in the beginning, you will. You
There
will
are
pay
many
to
things that you will
speak.
make an
Go ahead.
investment, but you always have to say what's going to be the ROI of this investment.
Yeah.
There have been opportunities that I have paid to speak where I've made a couple $100, $1,000, a couple $1,000 at an event. but you always have to look at what are going to be your pros and cons. And
Exactly.
so if I show up and there's only 10 people in the room and I paid $1,000 to get here between hotel, food, transportation, and paying for my spot, am I going to make that 1,000 back at least?
Mm-hmm.
You may or may not, because then you also have to remember the smaller the amount of people in the room,
The less money you
it's a lake. You done went from the ocean to the lake to now you in this little itty bitty puddle,
make. Mm-hmm.
and y'all all trying to fish in the same puddle.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that situation is very few fish. So, like we said, Karen, in the beginning, you will have to pay to speak. But what I'm trying to say is that people are charging these outlandish prices. Paying to speak has to be is a common thing because you gotta look at the marketing, the banners, the
Yeah.
T-shirts, the food. These venues charge a lot because they have staff. Like the last event I did, I wanted staff there
Oh
all the
yeah.
time because I was like, I need coffee, I need my water, I need, I do act a little bougie when I be going, you know what I'm saying? Because I need what I need. But because that's just like, but one of the things, Karen, that you should have is even like a cutoff price where you're like, listen, I'm not paying no more than this, and look at the disclaimer of what. Okay, if I'm paying $1,000 to speak, right? What am I getting in return? Like what are the features that I'm getting? Okay, I get my name in the event brochure. You know how some events have. Oh, I know you have to go. Also, sorry. Let's go to the third question. Okay, we could do a
Oh no,
part two.
you're good.
Oh, good. Okay. If your picture and bio is in the pamphlet, so that way when people can go home, they have that forever.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
VIP bags. Marketing your business information, not just your picture and your name and the name of your brand. I'm talking about your contact info, your Instagram, your website, and all this other stuff. Those things
Right.
are important. I know in the past I've done events in Altovise. I know you know what I'm talking about, where I had to even pay for my own media kit. So I paid to speak and my own media kit. No, no, no. That needs to be included.
Exactly. Like, oh, okay. Oh,
And then I was at
we
another
really out here.
where I paid to speak, and I want a panel. I paid to speak. I want to be the only one up here. I don't want these bitches. I'm no offense. I don't want to be with these girls. I want to be by myself.
And it goes back to one of the things that I found in as a speaker, as an author. Hear me clearly, domination world. As a speaker, as an author, you must do your research.
Yes, please.
Please do never just say yes because of the opportunity, because of the name that's attached to it. You must do your research. And when you do your research, you will put yourself into a position where now I'm not just showing up just to show up because of somebody's name, but I
That's
really
true.
do see the benefit of me showing up. And so when you do your research, yes, there will be some experiences where you pay for a slot. There will be some times where you don't pay for a slot.
It
Even when we
depends.
think about Les Brown and Lisa Nichols, they still have times where they speak for free.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get paid every single time, but they know how to leverage it in order for them to make money on the back end by selling from the stage or selling from the back of the room.
Yep.
It's a process. But when
Yes,
you're coming in, you will have people that will take advantage of you.
they will, because they know that you feel that they know that you feel that you're new when you're not new. That's one
Come
mistake I did.
on, come on, say
I
it
was like, my
again,
track
say
record shows. Yeah,
it
they
again.
know that you feel that you're new, that you're green, and you're not green. When you realize, like, I have a long track record, and even when those moments where I felt like I was so green and I was so new, because they like to make you convince you of that. You fall into that trap. So Sasha said, "Will you say not paying and giving a percentage to the event organizer is good?" Now, again, it depends on the
Yeah.
event. Me personally, if I'm having a slot where speakers are paying, I want the money up front because again, there's expenses that I have to pay because of that person is speaking. But what me and Altovise are saying that if you did pay this outlandish price to speak, okay? aside from the room and board. You pay this outlandish price to speak, and then you still got to give them a percentage of
Yeah.
your sales. That's highway robbery. That's not fair.
Like
You should,
that's a lot.
you
And
should,
it and you
yeah,
got to think about it because I'm paying you to speak, and then when you know I'm paying to be here, I'm paying to speak, and then I'm giving you a percentage of the work that I'm doing. That's like
yeah,
you going and working a job, and then when you get your paycheck, you go and give your boss part of your paycheck.
exactly, exactly.
Didn't
So
you
it,
do the work? Like you did the work, you showed up,
and you
but you're
get your
going and
check,
giving them part of that paycheck.
and your boss comes around and be like, "Hey, Sasha, you got paid today. We got to get 50%." You're like,
Yeah.
"Wait, you better get, boy, you better get up on my face." You know, so so that's what it is. It's like that. And again, you have to, and like I said, Sasha is one of my clients. So Sasha, any opportunity that comes across your table, to reach out to me. I've seen it all, and I have not just seen it all. I've done it all. Okay, I went in that trap, that black hole, where my husband will come to the event and he just be like this.
Exactly.
He did. I mean, he was sitting in that room, like, look at this hotel, look at this, look at, and we paid this, and
I
we
remember that.
boy, he was mad. We left a day early from that event. He was pissed, and he's a Jamaican, so they just like
He was dying, and it was so funny because I looked up and y'all was gone, and I was
he
like, "What
was.
happened?"
When he say I'm going, I'm just like, all right, baby, I gotta go with him. I couldn't even justify. That's another thing on Twitter. I'm really good at justifying things, especially to him, but I couldn't even justify that moment, that experience. He was so mad.
I remember that.
He was so bad. And even in that moment, Altovise, I took that as a negative on his part. I was like, "You're wrong," and everything.
You
And
don't know them like I know them. That's
yes,
that. That's that feeling.
oh,
Like you just don't know them like I know them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're justifying the chaos and the mess and the foolishness and the foolery and until I had a moment of reflection and I had to realize that God was actually speaking through him.
Yeah.
I had to reevaluate that experience, and then a month after, I just totally broke off. I actually paid for an event. There was another event I was supposed to go to. I paid my flight. It was supposed to be in Vegas. Paid for my flight, my room, my boy, everything. I walked away without even asking for anything back from that experience. And I was okay with that. But it's yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot. So let's jump into the third point here because I know Altovise, you have something coming up. Um, what do confident people do every day?
So I would have to say something that I do every day is it's how I start my morning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I take time and I talk to God. I take time and I just sit. I know a lot of times, right, especially right now, because we're home, first thing that we do, we're on our phone. First thing that we
Mm-hmm.
do, we're, checking our social media. We're doing all of these things. But I had to get back into a habit of the first thing I need to do is check on me.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see, am I okay? Like, did I get a good night's sleep? Um, what is it that, I may have a lot on my to do list today. I may not have a lot on my to do list today. But where is my starting point?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't go anywhere until you know where's your starting point because you don't want to cheat yourself by starting at a different starting point that you don't have to. And so sometimes that may mean you need to get up and get yourself together, go jump some rope, go for a walk. Sometimes that may mean you need to go lay back down and get some more rest. But what does my starting point really look like? And so how you start your morning is very, very important when it comes to confidence. As an entrepreneur, as a speaker, as
Yes.
an author, you can have a brick and mortar, whichever. How you start your morning is going to be so important because guess what? It will influence and impact the rest of your day.
Oh yes. That's true. You know, for me, how I start my day, and this is so important for me, is that I try not to focus on what I didn't accomplish the day before. You know, my current situation that I'm in, I physically cannot put more stress on myself than I already have. So, and really, I wouldn't even call it stress, really. But a lot of times you wake up every morning, especially for me, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't do this yesterday. I didn't do that yesterday. I didn't do that yesterday. And we focus just on that instead of the fact that, hello, the sun is shining. It's a brand new day,
Brand new day,
new
right?
expectations, new goals, new everything, and just focus on making the current day great. So one of the things that I like to practice is the power of vision, right? Of the power of writing out or picturing out in your mind how you envision your day is going to end. And then aligning your actions to that vision. And that's what I do. I literally close my eyes and I frame of how it's going to feel to make my goal today, how it's going to feel to make sure the kids are fed. The house doesn't have to be clean, but they're fed. It's like the most important things that I know if I go to bed tonight, I'm gonna be okay with, and staying focused on that. Now, when that does happen, when you envision, there is going to be roadblockers that come, because once you make a vision out there, the devil knows about it too, and he's going to allow things to go coincide with that to distract you, to get you off your track. So what I do in the business world, when I'm online marketing myself, I look forward to the no's. Not look forward to, but I expect the no's. I expect that if I follow up with somebody and they say no, I'm okay with that, because I'm like, okay, the more I get to the people who are like maybes, I'm not sure, yada yada yada, gets me one step closer to the ones that are going to say yes. You know, so that's the thing. You got to expect that things are going to come up, because that's the reality of being vision focused. Like once you're vision focused, there's going to be things that's going to come up that's going to block you or hinder you from accomplishing that vision that you put out for yourself. So that takes practice, y'all. It's not going to be like tomorrow, this morning you do that and you're going to become amazing at it. It takes practice, and it takes the fact that if things come up that are unexpected, you just,
You have to give
right
yourself
back
grace.
here. And yeah, and be more kind to yourself, just being more kind to yourself. This was a good conversation.
Wasn't it? Oh my goodness.
Girl, I'm sorry it dragged over a little bit, but like I said, guys, make sure y'all following Altovise on her Instagram at the World Voice League. Go over there now and make sure you're following her. Tell her she sent you. And so, Altovise, if you can talk about what's next for you. We're the third quarter right now. This is I call it the transition
Q3, baby.
quarter. Yes. So what do you have coming up, sis?
So Q3 for me is all about focusing on the podcast. Hashtag Speak Easy Podcast. I am the host. I've been hosting it for 3 years, and this year we are going all in on monetizing it and teaching not just those who we've helped to start their own podcast, but also a lot of the guests, teaching them how to be able to monetize their podcast. So that's what you're going to be seeing from me in the next few months. Also, there's a few books coming out. Y'all know I'm always on the move. I'm on a goal of 100 books published. Listen,
Woo! Y'all better grab her book.
and not stopping. Let's go. I'm excited, guys. Super excited. I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys and keeping the conversation going. So thank you so much, Letitia, for having me, sis.
Anytime, anytime. So happy to have you on the show. Make sure y'all head over to bit.ly/World Voice Community. That is Altovise, free community. I definitely want to go over there to get that in-depth information from her, more information on what she has coming up. So, Altovise, thank you so much for getting on the show. This was good. This was so good. I think that, for us to help women gain more clarity on mindset, self-development, and just getting out there and discovering their voice and acting on it is so important. We have to constantly be reminded of that, right?
Yes, indeed. Yes,
All
indeed.
right, y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow morning on another episode of my Success Spotlight Talk Show. Y'all have a good day. Be blessed, be thankful, and more importantly, dominate. Bye, guys.